We would like to, as veterans, of course, we want to send out the best to all the veterans out there. This month, we did this veterans event. Councilwoman, great. Thank you for having me in that committee. Tell us a little bit about yourself, because usually, it's just so much out there. You've been out there putting the work for the people, of course, since what? 1937, 1936, somewhere around.
Well, it possibly even goes back a little bit beyond that. And I find it kind of difficult to briefly talk about my life because it has encompassed up until now about 88 years.
What? 88 years?
My last birthday, I was 88 years old. And it's extremely difficult to share with people in a relatively short your life's experience covering that amount of time. Let me start off by saying I make reference quite often to sage comments that we've heard over the many years.
Correct, yes.
That we really don't pay too much attention to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And the comment that I'm making reference to now is the one that says that so a tree is bent, so shall it grow. And I say that in the context of raising children.
Right, right.
A tree is a sapling. They put it in the ground, and if you're mindful of it, they brace the sapling on all four sides to get that sapling, to get that tree to grow straight. We as parents, somewhere down the line, do not do that. If the parents don't teach the children, train them when they're down here, it's too late.
Leaving that top off. You hear this? You hear this? This is what I'm talking about.
I said before, so a tree is bent, so shall it grow. You train your children early. You can't wait till they get 10, 15 years old. It's too late.
This one goes to the mothers, man. If you want your kid to go straight to, listen, you have to give your kid a little tough love. We got a lot of these kids lost out there. You can't really blame them. Look at what you're doing at home. Look at what you're doing at home. You can't give him all this love. Oh no, my baby, this, that. No. You got to give him the tough love, because you know what? When he goes out there on his own, guess what he's going to do? He's going to choose the easy way out. A lot of sense. Estamos acá con el señor Jorge. Es un general con la estrella 1A. Y está en la militar desde el 1936. Y estamos hablando un poco de lo que es cómo crecer a un niño. Y pues se refiere, el ejemplo que él pone es que cuando se siembra un árbol, ese árbol para que pueda crecer tiene que saberlo mantener. Eso es lo que estamos hablando ahora. That was very good. I think that I'm on the history books living in the real world, which is it's a big issue. I think that most of us out there, society itself, living in the fake world. I used to say it was 70 to 80%, because most of the time we get manipulated by lies and we get controlled like that. So talking about these things means a lot to me also, because I think it's an educational process, and coming from you having this experience, I think is great. I was talking to Charles also about some of your experiences, and he mentioned some of the people that made some sort of big statements in the world, like Collin Powell. Tell me, what's your experience with this gentleman?
John Powell made a comment which endeared me to him when he said that the progress that he had made in the military was as a result of standing on the shoulders of giants. And I submit, because I'm 15 years older than him, and I had 15 years, I was commissioned 15 years before he was commissioned.
Correct.
That the shoulders of giants that he made reference to was mine. Now that might sound self-serving, but think about it.
Well, let's be realistic. This is what we're talking about, living in the real world, Okay. So I definitely have to agree that this type of knowledge and that you actually, he's talk, we basically talk about more the experience and the educational process. So coming from you and talking about a gentleman that came in and started working with, at the presidency, I think that it's important that people like that, especially the youth, whatever you're bringing out to them right now, it is important because you're sending out a message also,
Well, underlying, basic to what you said, and I'll repeat it, is education. Okay? I submit that life is pretty much like a game. It's like a game in that there are winners and there are losers.
Right, absolutely.
Okay.
And you have to be a good loser to be a good winner. Tell us about how tough was for you being a black man in the military.
Well, it was tough and it wasn't tough. It wasn't tough because I was, to some degree, naive. I didn't realize that racism existed in the country.
Tough.
You're young. You don't grow up with that mindset.
Right.
When it becomes apparent to you, of course, you get upset. But you have to realize that, as I stated a few moments ago,
right,
you can't change the rules of the game.
You can't change the rules of the game.
You have to deal with a bad situation. It's like playing cards. If you get a bad hand, you got one or two options: either throw the cards in, or play the cards that you have, and hope that the cards that you have make you win.
I play with the right cards,
and the right cards might be in the form of education or an attitude.
See, the attitude stuff. Continue talking about leadership. What do you think about, Obama right now and how you see him maintaining as a president?
Well, obviously any comments I make about the President Obama, is positive. There's nothing that he can do that I would have any problems with. Pure and simple. And like Joan Baez said in one of her songs many years ago, you really don't know how an individual or a society exists unless you've walked in their shoes.
Absolutely.
Leadership is a lonely position, and you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. You're trying to satisfy 3 or 4 million people.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But let me say it in the context of the presidency. Every legitimate organization, when I say legitimate organization, company or corporation, has a board of directors.
Absolutely, yes.
The country has a board of directors.
Of course, they got to have the committee, advisors.
The board of directors for the country is the Congress,
Absolutely.
the senators and the congressmen.
Right.
Okay. The rules that this country plays by relates to numbers. The majority rules.
Right.
51% of anything, and that's where you go. The board of directors, if the Congress do not give you 51% support, you can't do a thing.
Basically, what you're saying is that he got a lot to do. He got a lot of work to do with Congress to make sure he does the job and maintain the position. Estamos hablando de el procedimiento de cómo Obama. Antes de eso hablamos del general Collin Powell, cómo él el procedimiento de cómo él entró como jefe de la militar en la Casa Blanca, pero también le estábamos preguntando qué tiene que hacer Obama para poder mantenerse en esa posición como presidente. Y dice, pues tú sabes que el Congreso es cada organización legítima, cada corporación tiene su asesoría, su comité, y en la Casa Blanca pues está lo mismo. Está ese comité y ese comité el Congreso. Él determina que en realidad lo que él necesita es pues trabajar con el Congreso. God bless you. Thank you for being with Felion TV. Right. Felion TV, keep on watching, and we're gonna do a couple of more footage outside.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's the reason I make reference to games. All kids know about games.
Right.
And they know that everybody can't win. Okay? So how
can't win. That's right.
How do you become a winner? You got to be able to play the game better than the next guy.
Right. And that's life, man.
And that's life.
Life is a way where how you basically program your mind and be willing to go the extra mile, because that's what you basically did. You went for the extra mile. You know,
that's what it boils down to. It's interesting. I find it interesting, and I do a lot of talking.
Of course, man. I think that these youngsters out there, what they really need is that time. You know, having that advisor, just like everybody else do. Like we spoke about the committees and stuff like that, man. A lot of these kids do need that advisor.
Well, again, this is what I'm saying. You say kids, I say anybody younger than me.
Youngsters.
Anybody. Everybody needs that. You'd be surprised how many folk don't realize, adults I'm talking about.
Right.
Life's a game.
Life is a game, but you gotta play the cards right.